Hi again, Andy back with some more work with this block that we have of white PVC plastic as an example of how to use SolidWorks. So we've made this relatively reasonable looking homemade Lego block. But one Lego block isn't enough. We've saved it as a part called 4-block. How about if we make an 8-block, you know, the larger size Lego block? How could we do that? We could start from scratch, which kind of would be not too efficient, but because SolidWorks is so intimately dependent upon sketches as the basis for the geometry, we could imagine, why don't we just go back into the original base block, the original sketch. And if we go into that original sketch and we edit that sketch, that was 40 by 40 by 40. All we need to do is to make a double block, make that top one 80. And there we have a double size block. Oh, but we have a problem here in that we don't have enough nubs. So we can go and we can make more of those nubs a couple of different ways. And I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. One way is we just go back into the sketch for the nubs themselves, and I'm going to get them in plane. There we go. And we could just add more circles. That would work just fine. We can add more circles a number of different ways. We could space them by just simply replicating them. We could add them using something called a linear sketch pattern, in which case we could click the sketch pattern tool up here in the tool menu, and it shows up as the x-axis is direction 1 and the y-axis is direction 2. I can change that axis to anything I like. What happens? Well, if we pick the thing, any of these things, let's say I pick both of them, you can see that it creates a yellow shadow of its former self. It's going in the wrong direction. That's not very good. So this little button on the left would say flip the direction. It looks to me like they're too close together, so we could increase that spacing. But we don't really know if that's where we want it to be, because we had the dimension from this point to the edge to be 8 and the dimension on the other edge to be 8, which means that a little bit of quick math, we could probably resolve this, and we could say that if this was halfway, it's 40. We want the spacing between these to be 8 and 8 from the middle to the middle point. So 40 minus 16 is 24. So we make the spacing 24. I guess I didn't do that right. 22. That's probably more like it. No, that can't be right either. Well, let's just give it a try and see. And it didn't like the filleting. And I'm just going to continue with that. When there's mistakes in SolidWorks, they show up with a what's wrong dialog, And you can go through Feature Expert as it's one of its options and let it help you. But the nice thing is it actually tells you what's wrong. You'll see in this list, and recall I said at the beginning of these videos that this design tree was really important in modeling. Well, it's telling us that fillet 1 is a problem. So if I left click on that and it tells me what the problem with the fillet is, and I just click Edit Feature, then you'll see that it's showing me the fillets and the radius, and it's saying, oh, there's these things it can't seem to fillet with that face. But then wait a minute, those things were because of how I did the shell. So I'm just going to X out of that. So even though SolidWorks is telling me that the error is in the fillet, what I really know is that it's because my new definition of those nubs, recall I excluded those from the shell. So if I go back and I edit the shell, and I want my multi-thickness things to be added, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add that one, these are the new nubs, to the multi-thickness, and click OK. And magically by doing that, the error in the fillet went away. SolidWorks is a really, really powerful tool, but it's not as smart. It doesn't know what we want it to do necessarily. It doesn't know our intention all the time. Now the other thing that it didn't do was it now didn't include these new nubs with the chamfer that I had. So I have to go back in and I have to edit the chamfer, and I have to add that surface, that surface, that surface, and that surface. There. And now I have an 8-block part. Since I've made that, I didn't change anything else from the 4-block, so I'm just going to save this as a new name. I'm going to call this 8-block. And there we have it. Show it in nice shaded. And there we've got another Lego block. That's enough for now. We'll move on and look at making some assemblies next. Talk to you soon. Bye.